That's the Park Service's estimate. Where are you coming from, congressmen and senators, to call those people criminals, to call them traitors, to call them treasonous, to call them insurrectionists, to call them gangsters, and what else was the phrase that I heard? Anyway, that all negative to the people, broad-breasting them, saying that they're bad, 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 bad. We had 2 weeks of Republican and Democrats blasting us after this event, scolding us, pointing fingers at us, slapping us on the wrist, slapping us on the face, calling us all kinds of names, telling us bad, 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 violence, bad, 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 people, bad, grievances, bad, Trump is bad, all that kind of... No. You, congressmen, failed. You, senators, failed. You did not come out and address us. You did not talk to us. You ran away. You hid. You cowered behind your desk. You hid behind locked doors and police with their weapons drawn against us. We didn't have weapons. What senator was killed? What congressman was killed? A citizen was killed. Many citizens died from the tear gas and the opposition of the police. What senator, what congressman died? None. So this whole thing is about the Congress. It's about the Senate. It's about the House of Representatives being afraid of the people. Why are you afraid of the people? You were supposed to represent the people. We elected you. Why are you afraid of us? Now, in the coming days, we had the National Guard and others occupy the city after the people had left. 500,000 people left the Capitol, and suddenly the National Guard is called out to protect the Capitol for the Joe Biden administration, which no one was going to attend anyway because it was a virtual inauguration. But suddenly, the Capitol is occupied by 25 and upward National Guard troops. Now, I was in the military, my friends, and I know about the doctrine called posse comitatus. Posse comitatus. The doctrine in the rules of engagement in the U.S. military, Air Force, Marines, Navy, now the Space Force, Army, is that U.S. troops are never to be used internally against the citizen of the nation. U.S. troops are never to be used internally against the citizens of the nation. And the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, all those agreed, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the National Guard Bureau, all agreed to allow United States troops to be used against the citizens in order to secure the Capitol and keep the citizens away, to lock down the citizens and to prevent the citizens from expressing their grievances against the government. It's no different than the British troops. No difference at all. This is a tyranny beyond imagination, my friends. I cannot tell you. And so now we have governors in Texas and Florida and Vermont and Montana withdrawing their troops because they see not that there was some kind of problem with the Constitution, which they should have seen, but because the troops are mistreated. I got that. I'm an Army guy. I understand that. However, there are 5,000 troops still remaining in Washington, occupying the city and preventing the citizens from gathering and organizing and presenting publicly their grievances against the government. In other words, we are using our army against ourselves because Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, who are both the sergeants at arms in the Capitol, have said that should be the case. Now, one of the things I read recently is that a Department of Homeland Security official said that Nancy Pelosi requested cruise weapons. Now, as an Army officer, I can tell you a cruise weapon is a .50 caliber machine gun mounted on a vehicle which can move about, and that 50 or other size, it can not only 50 caliber, but a machine gun, automatic weapon that can disperse 3 to 500 rounds of deadly force. She requested that those gunships, those gun vehicles, those cruise mounted weapons be deployed in the Capitol. Can you imagine if during this crowd of 500,000 people, these cruise weapons had been deployed and somebody like the one in the Capitol, and we never knew who it was, although it was obviously a Capitol police person who killed the citizen in the Capitol building. Can you imagine if they had opened fire with 50 caliber machine guns and dispersed 300 rounds, maybe 5 or 6 vehicles? They could have killed the Congress, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and all of those who agreed with this procedure could have killed thousands of innocent civilians who were there to gather together, to assemble, and to address their grievances in public against their government, to their government. Doesn't have to be against it, to their government, asking for a redress of grievances. So now we have to let's turn everything around. It isn't Trump. Trump doesn't matter. He's out of office. He's a private citizen. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't incite violence. He didn't do any of these things. What Trump rally? Of the 100 or 200 Trump rallies in 4 years, how many of them were violent? 0. How many people were killed in Trump rallies? 0. How many buildings were destroyed in Trump rallies? 0. How many statues were torn down in Trump rallies? 0. How many businesses were burned? How many buildings were burned? How many structures were destroyed? 0. So there's no evidence that anything previous to this event had any indication of violence. And President Trump and the crowd did not expect that because there was no evidence. In 4 years of hundreds of thousands of people gathering together for rallies, there was no evidence of any kind of violence. So that's another issue altogether. But I'm saying to you this. Why were the congressmen, why were the senators afraid of the people? Why were the police, the Capitol Police, afraid of the people? Why did the Capitol Police use pepper spray against the people, use tear gas against the people, use drawn weapons against the people? What were they afraid of, and why were they afraid? Now that was January the 6th. Now we're in February the 1st. Since then, nothing has happened. And people want to say, there was insurrection. If it was an insurrection, the whole nation would be in flames. Every state capital would be under siege. We have 50 states, my friends. If this was an organized insurrection against the government of the United States to topple the government, it's obvious that it was nothing at all. It was not even. It was an unfortunate incident of overreaction by the Capitol Police and a response by the crowd, infuriated by being abused and mistreated by the Capitol Police, even to deadly force. So, the congressmen are responsible and accountable. The senators are responsible and accountable. Nancy Pelosi, the Sergeant-at-Arms, and Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell, the Sergeant-at-Arms in the Capitol, are responsible. Don't pass it off on other people. You failed us. You failed the people. The people gathered together peacefully. They gathered together constitutionally. They gathered together according to their civil rights to present their grievances to the government. The government suppressed them, attacked them, and killed them. My friends, this is a terrible thing. Now, what was my solution to this? We have to hold Congress accountable. We have to hold the Senate accountable. We have to hold Nancy Pelosi accountable. We have to hold Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer accountable because this happened under their watch and they did it. We didn't do it. They did it. And why they are afraid of us, why are they afraid of the people, why are they afraid of people organizing and gathering and assembling and presenting their just demands, their just grievances to the government, is beyond my imagination. But that's what happened. And we must not buy, I'm making a strong case here, we must not buy the insurrection theory. We must not buy. The Republicans should be ashamed of themselves, and the commentators on our side, whether it's Greg Gutfeld, whether it's Sean Hannity, whether it's Tucker Carlson, whether it's Laura, with the violence pointing the fingers, slapping our hands, and putting us down for 2 weeks at Don Bongino. I love them all. They're my guys. Rush Limbaugh. And blasting us and scolding us and beating us over the head. Violence. No. Violence was on the other side. The violence was an attack against us. Now, the last comments here. This Trump impeachment thing, it has nothing to do with Trump. Trump is not president any longer. Trump has exhausted all his legal and legitimate options relative to the election. When he lost all his legitimate and legal challenges, he left office peacefully. He didn't attend the inauguration. That's a ceremonial thing, not significant. The impeachment is to prevent him from ever running for office again, and it's a reminder to all of us, the 73 million of us who voted for him, don't you dare ever challenge us, the elite, the rulers, the senators, the congressmen, the FBI, the CIA, the NSI, all these people. Don't you ever dare to challenge us again, because if you do, and the military, don't you dare challenge us, because if you do, we will quash you like a bug under our finger. And you know what I say to that? No. Now, I don't want violence. I'm just saying, I am so upset that our government may have and seems to have turned against us. Now, what do? We organize, we resist, we go to the local, we become activists in our political party, Republican Party or Democrat Party or Libertarian Party. We become precinct workers, we become Board of Education workers, we become local officials at the election boards, we become people who are working tirelessly to change the way we do things. No violence is necessary. Organization is necessary. And a goal is necessary, a fundamental plan, a philosophy. And the philosophy was and must be, we the people are the people, and the government is responsible to us. It is not the ruler over us. And so with that, my friends, I'm going to end this podcast. I know it seems I'm very upset, but I'm very upset because I'm very upset that the government should pepper spray us, should tear gas us, should shoot us to death, and then turn around and scold us for daring to create a situation that they claim made them do it against us. This is just unacceptable, my friends. Unacceptable. Now, I think it is being corrected. I think there are, and the Supreme Court, believe me, when the Supreme Court refused to hear our grievances because they said we have no standing, in the law, we have no standing in the courts, we are nothing to them, only others are more important than us. We were incensed. That's why 500,000 people gathered in Washington. That's why 59,000 people gathered at a Trump rally in Pennsylvania. That's why people gathered together at a Trump rally in Georgia, because we were furious that the Supreme Court and others said that we, the people, have no rights. We have no standing. We have no prerogatives. We cannot object. Well, you know what? We are objecting, and we did object. And now the government has shown itself to be suppressive. And this 5,000 troops that remains in Washington is continuing to remind us that they have the upper hand. They have the military, and they are not afraid to use the United States military against the citizens of the nation. Against the citizens of the nation, my friend. Remember that. It's very important. Okay, I'm Frederick Henry. This is a public broadcast. It's my own personal opinion. This is how I see it. And I thank you for listening, because we need to see it in a different light. We need to see it in the light of why did the Congress, why did the Senate, why were the Capitol Police afraid of us, the people? And why did they act against us with pepper spray, with tear gas, and with bullets, when what we were doing was gathering together and assembling in order to express our grievances against our government, or to present them. It can even be against it. It doesn't make any difference. We have every right to do that. And if they don't want it, they will suppress us with pepper spray and tear gas and bullets. And we must object to that, my friends. It's not only the ballot box, but it's public assembly and gatherings, and saying that we will present our grievances to our representatives in public. That is our right to do. And if they suppress us, it is our right to object to that suppression. Not only at the voting booth, letter writing, this podcast, all kinds of freedom of speech items. We must speak out and speak up and say, this is not tolerable.